person from Mexico and one from India. And the one from India was a friend of Wasif, and so through him I also knew Wasif. And then slowly, when I started writing about the Imam Ali statement, some Iranian university asked me to go and talk about it. So I started discovering my neighbors that were considered first, they are like so distant, and they were much closer than anything that we were affected by. The first thing I did when I went as a visiting scholar, I said, I want really to read some Arabic books that were written 1,000 years ago. I want to know what they were thinking of. I mean, always heard about many names, but never really read anything. Because I was involved in math and science and physics and so on, so I thought that these are what's important. Who is Al-Jahiz, who wrote 1,200 years ago some wonderful books, but they told us they are wonderful, but no one told us why they were wonderful and what's the wonder in them. So when I read that, his book is in Arabic called Al-Bayan wa Tabyin, which means basically expression that makes what is invisible visible, in a sense. That is, there is, you might say, there is the expression, and there is what the expression expresses. And what the expression expresses, for example, your expression expresses what is inside you, in terms of feelings, in terms of thoughts, etc. Anyway, what I read also in that book for the first time, that was in 1997, I read the statement by Imam Ali. And when I read it, all the experience that I had over 35 years, they all, like came together and made meaning, including my mother's knowledge. And I realized that what Imam Ali was saying fits perfectly on the knowledge of my mother, fits only, if I want to use mathematical measure, 20% on the math that I have, that I know and that I taught. And I will tell you why. Now, when I read it in Arabic, what I find really fascinating, and if I saw this before, probably I would have studied Arabic rather than math. Every word has roots. And if it has roots, it's connected to other things. And that means also it has several meanings. There is no word that has only one meaning. So there is richness in every word, because that word came from history over thousands of years. And so all over these years, it has accumulated new meanings and new energy, etc. So when I read it, because everything we talk about is, we want to talk about evaluation. And the future of students and the future of people, the future of countries, is decided by the numbers that are given for that place. So I was, when I read qimatu, the worthiness of every person is what he or she yuhsin. Now yuhsin in Arabic has several meanings. One meaning is you do it well. And as I said, yuhsin is a verb, is amal, is fa'al. So your worthiness is related to what you do. Not to what you say, not to your symbols, it's what you do. But you do in many meanings. Now, it's not enough what you do, but with 5, according to the different meanings, with 5 characteristics. The first characteristic is you do well, you do it well. Second, the word yuhsin comes from hasan, which is beautiful. So what you do is not only you do it well, but it's beautiful. It's not ugly. It's useful, which means it's not harmful. So a military captain that flies military planes and kills people, he is very good with the first. He does it well. He does the killing very well. He knows how to kill. But it's not beautiful, and it's not useful. The fourth meaning is something that you give from yourself. Ihsan. Ihsan is something you give from yourself. And the fifth meaning is respect. So when you get into discussion with others, you respect all ideas, you respect all way of views. You don't have to approve them with them, but you respect them in the sense that other people see things differently, and that is fine. So you discuss things not with a demeaning attitude, but with an attitude of showing the different views. Since this is connected to what I'm saying, the word for discussion in Arabic is tanaqosh. Tanaqosh comes from naqasha. Naqasha in Arabic is related to chisel. So when you chisel a rock or a stone, supposedly you are trying to make it more beautiful. So the Arabs saw the connection in the root, they put it in the root, the connection between discussion and chiseling. And in their way of thinking, thousands of years ago, they thought that the purpose of discussion is for the two people to come out of this after discussion more beautiful. Not any winner and a loser. So when we discuss so that I get nourished by the discussion and the other person gets nourished. So we come out of the discussion more beautiful. So here, the idea of respectful, which is part of Yohsin, if you know in the Quran, وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ, which means argue with respect for the other points of view. You don't blame, you don't call names, etc., etc. So if I look at my mother's knowledge, what she was doing, she was making clothes for women. And she was doing it well. So the first meaning of Yohsin, doing it well, she was doing it well. The second meaning for Yohsin is beautiful. The clothes that she made for the women were beautiful, otherwise they wouldn't have taken them. I mean, no woman will accept an ugly dress. The third, she gives something from her because she was not copying. It's not like she has a pattern and she was copying the pattern. The dress has to fit that woman, so she was like giving from her, not copying. And the fourth meaning, useful. Her math was useful. Making all these dresses were useful to at least 15,000 women. And it was respectful, obviously. I mean, making a dress for a person is very respectful of the person and one that fits the person's body. Looking at my math and taking, for example, quadratic equations, I did it well in the technical sense, how to really solve them and do this and do that and so on. But are they beautiful? Maybe for very few, if they really connect them to some phenomena in nature. There is beauty. But that usually is not even part of the curricula. So no one really connects the quadratic equations with the beauty in nature. But it is connected. But it's not part, as I said, of the curricula. So the math that I was teaching was not beautiful, was harmful, because math has been used more than for good things, it was used for bad things. One way of the harm that math did